Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This is the Black Tax, the African proverb that says, if you escape from the lion's den, why go back for your hat? I have tried my damnedest not to move to Los Angeles. I found every excuse there was in the book. I didn't like LA. I didn't want to be in LA. I'm a New Yorker. I don't want to have to drive everywhere. I want to do this. I want to be here in the Big Apple. This is home. I grew up here. I went to college here, grad school here. This is where it all starts. And what I realized is that I had gone as far as I could in the entertainment business here, and it was time to go to Los Angeles to learn that entertainment business. There are things you should know about entertainment. In New York, is who you know. In Los Angeles is who knows you. And that polar opposite is how a lot of times the gumption, the drive, the chutzpah, the thing that New Yorkers have about getting shit done gets done doesn't work in Los Angeles, and it's very threatening and intimidating, and you kind of have to pull back as a New Yorker there, but that's not my thing. Anywhere I've lived, I've always been a New Yorker. I always keep my head on swirl. I'm always at a space. I know where I'm at, what's around, what's going on. But this one time, I wasn't paying attention. So it is Oscar week, and I'm going to all these events for the Oscars. And so I go to this one event, celebrity-driven, A-list, up in the Hollywood Hills. And, I'm new to LA. I'm meeting people and people introducing me to other people. It was one of those moments where you had to kind of like act like you weren't overwhelmed because of the number of A-list individuals that were in this room. But at the same time, you still had to act like you weren't starstruck. But at the same time, you had to not be geeked up about being around all these celebrities. So I got into this conversation with a group of people. I knew two of the people, both lawyers, but they weren't practicing. One was a producer, one had turned into a director, and we got to laughing and joking, and then other people joined the conversation. And me being the social butterfly, we're enjoying ourselves. We're having a good time. So somebody calls the waitress over, and the waitress comes over and she takes our drink order and she comes back. I think nothing of it. We're at a party. There's staff working, passing around hors d'oeuvres and wine and champagne. I'm not thinking anything out of the ordinary. So as the evening is moving on, I'm drinking champagne and I'm having gin and tonic. Nothing out of the ordinary for me. I mix drinks all the time, always could, always have. Somewhere in a new conversation with a new group of people, I got a gin and tonic. I took a drink and I asked where the bathroom was. And so I got directed to the bathroom, and it was on the first floor near back of the house where the garages were. And I go to the bathroom and something is wrong. I close the door and the room begins to kind of like, not swirl, but the room begins to kind of like, when you do a flashback to a movie, it gets wavy. It starts getting wavy. And I'm feeling like I gotta throw up. Now, mind you, I've been nibbling. I got food in my stomach. I am hydrated. I am, all the check marks are checked off. Something instinctively told me it's time for me to go. I can't tell you what it was. I can't tell you why it was. All I know is something instinctively told me to leave. When something tells you to leave, leave. Something told me to leave, leave. I grew up in New York in the 80s and the 90s. More 80s than 90s, but I was around for the height of the crack era. I was around when you didn't check your coat because if you checked your coat, it was the coat check was going to get bum rushed, and you were going to go home without a coat in a cold winter day in New York City. Not a good look. So I get to my car, I get in the back seat of my car, and I'm trying to call the person I came with, but I don't know I'm doing this. Like, I have lost all equilibrium. I don't know. There's a moment, not even a moment. There's a block of time that I don't even remember what happened. The last thing I remember is when I got to the car, that I got in the back seat and laid down. I don't know what happened after that. The next morning, I wake up and I'm back at my friend's house I'm staying with. I am dehydrated. I am naked, or in my t-shirt and boxers. I am asleep on the couch. I wake up and I'm like, what just happened? And so he comes out of his bedroom. He's like, hey, are you okay? I said, I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. He says, I was looking for you at the party and you disappeared and you kept calling my phone, but you didn't tell me where you were. And I figured out that you were at the car. Okay. So I got your keys. It took you home, got you cleaned up, and laid down. And he's like, we need to talk about your drinking. And I was like, before you say anything, I was not drunk. Two things I'm never going to do is drink and drive. So I take a shower because I need to clean up. I go to the emergency room, and the nurse says, what are you looking for? I think I was slipped a drug last night, and I'm still very nauseous. So they take me in, they examine me, they do a blood test. There was no sexual activity that had happened. The doctor came in and said, hey, we see no signs of rape, and you were slipped a date rape drug. Now, as a man, I'm already overwhelmed by the mere fact that somebody would slip me a date rape drug. That has never happened in New York, but that shit happened in Los Angeles. So now I got a bigger fucking problem. So the doctor says, do you know who it was, where you were? I was at a party in the Hollywood Hills. I have the address, but I can't tell you who it was, why it was, or what it was. He says, well, you can talk to the police about this, but if you can't recognize who it was, then they're going to say, well, you got to be careful. That's what they're going to tell you. No problem. I leave. I go back to the friend's house that I'm staying at. And I was like, hey, do you know the people that we were talking to? He says, I know them by sight, but I really don't know who they are. Why? Because somebody slipped me a date rape drug. And now I've got some serious fucking problems. Oh, why would anybody do that? Why would anybody do that? And in my head, when he said it, I was like, okay, are you a part of this? Because now my spidey senses are going off. Like, okay, that's not the response you should have. The response you should have had was, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? Your response was, why would anybody do that to you? So now I'm looking at you differently. I packed my things. I'm there for a few more days. I was going to stay longer. I had 2 interviews because I hadn't moved to Los Angeles. That this was the pre-move because I was moving to Los Angeles in May. But I needed to get my new job lined up. I needed to get a place to live. I had all the things I needed to do before I moved to Los Angeles. I went back home and I thought about everything. Why it was, how it was, the whole bit. So now I'm looking at you sideways. And I realize that you are not a friend. You are, what's the word I'm looking for? You are a piss poor social climber. So that relationship began to dwindle. And though there were other relationships that I met through that individual that have since dwindled, the lesson that I learned here was bring your own liquor when you go to places. Don't drink it. Don't drink around people you don't know. Most people are so geeked up to want to be a part of that inner circle, to be in that space where you're rubbing elbows with A-list producers and directors and actors, and you're hanging out and you're going to all the parties and you're on the scene and people trying to figure out who you are and what you do and how we can get together and do business and do work. But what they don't teach you is that some of these individuals are low-life fucking scum who will do whatever they need to do to fuck you, to have their friends fuck you, and pass you around like you won't even fucking care. And these are men who are doing this to other men. So that sends me to a whole other level. In that moment when the doctor said to me, they slipped you a date rape drug, every clarity that I had about women and men who do that to women, I realized we are all victims. Anybody can get it. Anybody can have it. Anybody can be there. So the thing I want you to take from my lesson of almost being raped is always get your own drink, no matter how festive and collective it is. If you ain't seen it poured in your glass, then you don't drink it. Specifically, men. Women know this. Women have always known this. You don't take drinks from strangers. If you hold your drink. You watch people. You don't put your drink down without covering it. You pay attention. Men, on the other hand, we don't think that it's possible that another man will try to rape us. That has never happened in New York. That happened in LA. There have been other moments of me being in LA at other events, at other A-list parties or private parties, in Beverly Hills, in the Hollywood Hills, in Bel Air. And it's always the same group. And I'm always mindful never to drink anything unless I see it poured or I get it. And this is for the men and the women, but mostly for the men. Don't get so excited about being around celebrities thinking they're just cool people, and many of them are. I want you to take this to heart, and the women who listen to this, but mostly the men who listen to this. Don't think that you are not prone to being date raped by a celebrity or not. Now, that's not to say that all celebrities are this way, but there are several who will do this to you. Fortunately for me, I knew something was wrong and I left. Some of us are not as fortunate. Some of us get raped and take their life because of it. Don't be that person. Stay woke. We're out.